Hello guys, my name is Trevor Barnes and welcome to Let's Talk. This is the show where I start the conversation on the things that you want to talk about. And today we're going to be talking about Google and Amazon. So let's get started. So the reason this week I want to talk about these two different companies is because they're actually turning into a lot of the same company in many different ways. I think in many aspects they have the same goals, they have the same achievements that want to be accomplished. They almost both want to be these super companies involved in as much as they can be, and let me explain that a little bit. Google just released Google X, which is like a project throughout Google that its overall goal is to prevent disease, which is amazing. And if they can accomplish that, that's amazing. But it just goes into the fact that Google is in so many industries. They're in the kind of the car industry with the self-driving cars. They're in the electric industry. They're in the greenhouse type industry, whatever that's called. I don't know. Smart house, I guess. They're in the TV industry. They're in the, of course, internet industry. They're in the advertising industry. They're in the video industry. Pretty much they're in every single industry you could think of in one way or the other. Of course, the phone industry. I forgot about that. And the tablet industry, the computer industry, every industry. And Amazon's not too far behind. Of course, Amazon's in the phone industry, the tablet industry, the ad industry, the server industry. They are huge on back end of servers. The retail industry. The app industry, just like Google, the music industry, Google's in the music industry too, so I forgot that one, but yeah, I mean, it's just, the list goes on and on and on of the industries these companies are both in, but it really is amazing. And many people would think that Google and Amazon aren't competitors just from face value, but when you really think about it, they're huge competitors. Even though, Amazon uses a lot of Android stuff on their back end of their phone and their tablets and stuff like that, they are huge competitors, more so than I think like Google and Apple even are. And when you really think about this, and someone actually kind of was talking to me this week and kind of enlightened me on this little bit of news, it's like, well, this is interesting. It's a really interesting thought process to think. And it's really interesting because I never really cared about what happened with Amazon. But as I looked back in the news, things that Amazon has come out with, hey, we're going to be doing this, we're going to be doing that. Guess what? Google's right there saying, hey, we're going to be doing this and that. And wow, I'm like, this is innovation to its fullest. These are two companies kind of battling it out in the way to both succeed. But if you don't really look at the fact that they're competitors, you don't really see that. The bottom line here is if you don't know because you just never thought about it, or you just, you don't realize competition is what fuels the technology industry. If it wasn't for competition, we would still be on DSL, and that's purely because of profit reasons. Companies, especially internet service providers, they just don't want to spend money to innovate. But when there's competition, you're forced to innovate. You're forced to be changing things up. And when you think about it just plainly, Google doesn't have competition because they're almost like an experimental project company in a way. Like Google Car doesn't need to make profit for it to be successful in their eyes. But then you think about it and wait a second, they do have huge competition. Amazon's doing their drone thing, their automated flying package drone thing. Guess what? That's huge competition to the Google Car. Even though they're not direct competition, it's like that innovative project type thing. It's like, what company's doing more for the future? That's competition. I'm sure there's a person's job at Google that's just to watch Amazon stuff and say, hey, they're doing this, we got to come back at that. Or and I'm sure there's someone on the Amazon front somewhere that's saying the same thing about Google. That's how companies work. But if you don't really think the fact that they're in a competition with each other, then you don't realize that. And then you say, well, where's the innovating coming from? And really, because of Amazon, Google's done better. Because of Google, Amazon's done better. And when you really think about it and put it in perspective, it's amazing. And that's kind of what I wanted to share with you guys today in this episode of Let's Talk. It's a late episode of Let's Talk because it's supposed to be on Fridays. Today is Saturday. My car broke down yesterday, and I had to go to the repair shop and do all that not so fun stuff. So sorry for the late episode, and this is an episode to kind of leave you thinking. This is such a basic level as look at two coffee shops on the same street and see how when one price goes lower than the other, see what the other one has to do, either making a better quality product or lowering their price. And that's how competition works. And, you think some of these major huge companies like Google don't really have competition because of just the kind of market they're in. But then look at Amazon and all the stuff that Amazon's doing. And I know this isn't an informative video, but this is a video to make your mind think a little bit. So hopefully you guys get that on this late Let's Talk Saturday, as I'll call it. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure you like it up and you comment if you have any questions, concerns, criticism, whatever down there. I like this to be definitely a back-to-back show as far as I say, you say, I'm starting the conversation of things that you want to talk about type thing. So if you guys have anything to add, make sure you put it down there. You can follow me on Twitter. Link will be down there. I'm at Dr. Trippy Trev. No live show this week because of my car issues yesterday. But if you guys want, I have a podcast that's called Let's Talk. It's kind of the show like this, except it's podcast form and the topics aren't just tech related. You can go check that out down there. The link for the RSS feed and the iTunes page for the podcast will be down there. I'm really looking forward to making that podcast something really cool. So go check that out if you wish. My name is Trevor Barnes. I hope you guys enjoyed this video on Tech Inside. I am signing out, and I will see you guys next week.